everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'll get better at that eventually. Time is relative on the internet, so you could be drawing this at 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, or another 3 o'clock time in another dimension. Anyway, hello and welcome to Art Class with Herm. I'm Herm, if you couldn't tell, the only guy here in the room. I'm an artist and illustrator, and I'm based out here in Brooklyn. And I'm a big baseball fan, and I love to draw baseball. So every week, I like to sit down and share that excitement of drawing, especially baseball drawing, with all of you too. So every episode, we're going to be drawing a baseball-themed drawing, most likely involving the Mets, because I think most of us are Mets fans here, so you got to know your audience. But if this is your first time here, it is Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. Pretty crazy. Places around the country are starting to open up again. So it's kind of nice to see people out and about and stuff, staying safe. But this is actually our 21st episode, which is pretty awesome. So it's cool. So our little show here is old enough to buy a beer, which is really nice. So don't drink till you're older, kids. But our 21st episode, so if you're a completist like me, you don't worry, you can view all of our previous episodes by simply scrolling back on the social feeds that you're on right now on the 7 line, and you can see all the other classes that we've done. Or if you prefer to do this on your computer or on YouTube, simply go to artclasswithherm.com. That's going to bring you to a playlist of all of our past episodes. We've drawn Pete Alonso, Shea Stadium, Citi Field. The sky is the limit, and we're not going anywhere soon. So hopefully you can kind of check on those too. And if you really enjoy the show and like drawing and such, make sure to share and subscribe. That's how we grow and we get a bigger audience, and we can get some cooler sponsors and tastier beverages for me. I love coffee. So make sure to subscribe and share that along with your friends too. Awesome. So how are you guys doing today? Pretty good, I hope. It's beautiful out. The windows are open. I got my ceiling fan on. But let's talk about what we did in our last class. So in our last class, we drew Noah Syndergaard's hair, which is something we had a lot of fun with. There was a lot of creative interpretation that you could do. As long as you got the face and the arm, the hair could say anything. We've seen people's names, multicolored hairs and stuff. So thank you so much for sharing along with your drawings with us. So like we do on all of our episodes, we like to pick 3 artists that we thought did a really exceptional job, and we like to gift them a $10 gift card that they can use on the 7 Lines website. So this week, we want to give a big shout out to Preston, Linda, and Ms. Koala. So sorry, Ms. Koala, that's on Instagram. I didn't see your name, but I really love that your whole family got together and drew mr.met. So I think there were like 4 or 5 of them on there. So thanks a lot for sharing. So those codes will be sent to you in the next couple of days or so. Make sure to write your name of your family stuff too. So if you enter the contest, we can kind of give you a nice big shout out on there. And as you'll see too, one of the things we wanted to highlight is I've been getting a lot of emails from people taking the classes from a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, and that's totally awesome. I love to show it. So every week, it doesn't have to be your drawing that you did the previous one. It could be anyone from all of our time. Anyway, I've been talking a lot, but we're almost done here. So let's talk about our supplies that we're going to need for our drawing today. So pretty easy. You can pretty much draw with whatever you want. Crayons, pencils, colored pencils, markers, things. I'm going to be using standard 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper that I pulled right from my printer, which is nice. So make sure you have all that. And for me, big shout out to our sponsor today, Sail Away Nitro Brew Coffee. These guys are awesome. I'm almost all out. I've been drinking like 2 or 3 of them a day. I'm an addict. So they've been gracious enough to sponsor us for our episode today. So Sail Away Nitro Brew Cold Brew Coffee is amazing. It's infused with nitrogen and gives you an incredible creamy texture, organic, dairy, and gluten-free. So you can check them out on sailawaycoffee.com. And what's really great is if you type in Herm20, you get 20% off of your order. So big shout out to Sail Away Coffee. Make sure you can check that out. It's pretty cool. But you can also check them out at Whole Foods across Long Island and Brooklyn and some of your local shops too. So Darren actually pointed out this really great thing. Sail Away is doing a bundle for Father's Day. It's called the Dad's Day Bundle. You get a shirt, mason jar, a couple of coffees. So I think that's normally $45, but with the 20% off code, it's about $36. So I went to art school. I'm terrible at math. So if that's off a little bit, I apologize. Great. All right, guys. Thank you for dealing with my talking there. I love it, but I love to draw more. So let's talk about what we're going to be drawing today. All right. So today, we're going to be drawing a Mr. Met alphabet type thing. I don't know how to describe it. A Mr. Met alphabet type thing. And we're going to be focusing on Let's Go Mets part of our drawing on here. So kind of fun. If the first time I've seen these like people that have become letters is from like colonial times. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Williamsburg in Virginia. My parents would make me do that when I was a kid. And there would be like these posters of like people doing like the letters. And I always thought it was really interesting. Or the YMCA. You guys know that song, right? Well, we're not trying to get sued here. We're just doing the letters. So that's kind of like the inspiration of this. So I'm going to walk you guys through how to make an L, a G, and an M, Mr. Met kind of style on there. So don't worry if it looks intimidating. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do that. And we are actually not going to be, I'm not going to be drawing it on one small sheet like this because it's kind of hard to fit it all. I'm going to be drawing them on separate sheets. So if you want to follow along with me there, we'll be doing an L, a G, and an M. And if you want to do it on separate sheets like that, maybe you can like, tape them together and kind of have like a cool banner. And if you guys are nice, I'll teach you guys how to draw an F too, a Mr. Met F if you want. But this is a kid's show, so you can throw that in at the end. That's the Marvel moment behind the credits. All right, cool. So let me get all my stuff ready. Cool. So I'm going to grab, like I said, I'm going to be drawing on a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I took right from my printer on there. And I'm going to be using my Pentel brush pen. But if you guys want, again, you could use a pencil and kind of color it in later on there, whatever you're more comfortable with. All right. Cool. So the first thing we're going to do, can you guys see that all right? Excellent. Is we're going to do the L, Mr. Met. So the reason I'm going to be doing these on the separate sheets, let's see if I can get that in there. There we go. On the separate sheets there is because you can get more detail with it and kind of get bigger with your letters. And you could even cut them out and put them on a bigger piece of paper and stuff. That's up to you. But let's get started. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, like we do every episode, is we're going to start with the brim of the hat. So you want to think about where you want to lay out your Mr. Met. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the brim of the hat. So I'm going to just make a line like this. That kind of comes up. So just that line. So if you've drawn with us before, especially Mr. Met or hat drawing, you are familiar with this shape. We usually start with something like that. All right, so now I'm going to come on the left here, and I'm going to curl it around to make like the top part of the hat. So you see what we have now here? This is almost like, it looks like a duck bill. So that's the part of the hat that's going to cover your eyes from the sun. All right, so now I'm going to come over here on the left a little bit, and we're going to draw the part of the hat that covers your head. So if you're bald like me, that way you don't get those funny suntans on the top of your head. All right, so I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to make this like horseshoe shape. Just something like that. Just this kind of a shape right here. So you can see the brim of the hat, and this is the part of the hat that covers your head. And we always like to draw that little button at the top. That's the part that holds all the fabric together. All right, so there's that. So we're going to step away from this right now. We're going to start to build in our Mr. Met face and body. So normally I would draw a big circle here for his face because his face is a baseball, right? But in this case, because I'm drawing with ink here, I want to have the shoulder up here. So it looks like his head is behind his shoulder. So we're going to kind of draw, stop, and then continue to draw. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to start over here on the left, and I'm going to come right where I first connected these two lines with the brim of the hat. And I'm just going to come down with this curved line. And I'm going to bring it to right about here. So that's the side of Mr. Met's head. And we're stopping it there because, again, I'm drawing it with ink. So I'm going to have my sleeve right here. But if you're drawing with a pencil, you can just continue all the way through. All right, so now I'm going to draw a horseshoe shape right here. So I'm going to come down a little bit and draw something like that. So you see that horseshoe shape? Similar to what we drew with the hat up here, but just a little more narrow. All right, so now I'm going to draw this kind of curved shape on the inside. So this is where Mr. Met's hand is, or arm rather, is going to come through. All right. So I'm going to leave this alone for a little bit. Let's come across and continue drawing our Mr. Met head. So now I'm just going to continue from this end here, and I'm going to finish up that circle. And I'm going to connect it right to where we drew that hat. So you can see now, you can start to see it. Here's the face and the hat and our sleeve. All right, so let's start to draw our arm in there. So I'm going to come in right in here, and I'm just going to draw 2 lines down. So this is going to be Mr. Met's arm. So just kind of like a rectangle almost in a way. So I'm not going to connect it at the bottom here because that's where we're going to draw his hand, right? Okay. So now that we have that here, on the sides of the sleeve, I'm just going to like connect it to that arm shape we just made. So you see that right there? I just basically just added 2 little lines to just connect the sides. So it looks like his arm is coming out of his sleeve. And then for his hand here, I'm going to draw like kind of like a circle. Just like this. Not kind of like a circle. I drew a circle on there. All right. So now at the top right here, I'm going to draw this other like kind of like a curved shape like this. So you see that there? So I just kind of like made these curved lines and went up and kind of came around here. So that excuse me. Oh my goodness. Thank God I have my coffee here. Here we go. Whoo, God, I've been talking a lot. Anyway, small commercial break. This is like the end of the glove that you put your hand into. That's right there. So now let's go ahead and let's draw some fingers on there. So like if you watch some other episodes, we talk about Mr. Met has 4 fingers rather than 5. So we're going to stick with that. So first I'm going to draw my thumb. So I'm going to come up a little bit, make like a little bump like that. I'm going to come in like this. And I am just going to draw a little thumb there. So I drew that part, so like a line here and up here, and then just made this wavy line like we did up here with the brim of the hat, and then just kind of connected like that. And then these, so I'm just going to add 3 more fingers down here. So nothing too crazy. So there's one, kind of rectangles that fall into each other with a curved end at the side there. So sorry if I'm going a little faster on this one. We have a lot to get through, so I want to make sure that we can get through it in a reasonable time. But there's our hand there. So you can see Mr. Met, our arm, and our sleeve, and our glove. So we're going to wait to draw the face towards the end here. I just want to get the rest of his body in. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw Mr. Met here. So I like to draw Mr. Met kind of chubby. I love that he has like a big belly. He looks really friendly. So I'm going to do that here too. So right here, look about this area right here. You see that? I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to make like this round part. And basically, I'm just going to connect it right here to our glove. Look at that. Look at that tummy. So you can see here, there's that, comes across right like this, pops there. That's his tummy there. And then right here, I'm going to kind of draw a little bit of the sleeve here. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to draw this curved line like that. Just a little bump there. All right. So we're almost done with this Mr. Met here. So let's go ahead and let's add in his legs. So the letter L, right? So he's kind of sent. So I'm going to have his legs come out like this to spell out that L. So he's kind of like sitting down. So I'm going to come over here in the back and I'm just going to come down and I'm going to draw this curved line. My ink's running out. This curved line right there. Oh, yeah, look at that. So you see, this is his back, and there's his butt, and it comes out, and there's his legs, and it's going to come out like this, right? So you can see, we're starting to see the L, right? The letter L. All right, so now I'm going to come in here, a little bit up here, kind of like the middle of his belly, and I'm just going to draw another line. Just like this right here. Make a little curve there for his leg. So that's like one side of his leg, and then we'll draw the other leg in a sec. But here now I'm going to draw his shoes. So his shoe is kind of like the number 3 upside down. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to build this bump like that. That's his shoe right there, right? And then now I'm just going to continue it. So I'm going to come down and I'm just going to continue and kind of stop like this right here. Remember when I said it looked like a number 3 upside down? Forget that. It doesn't look like that at all. I guess it's like a G. Almost, right? All right, cool. So you can see this is the front of the shoe and this is the back. So now I'm going to draw this like kind of a curved line like right here to kind of connect that. So this is the bottom of his pants and you can see his shoe right here. All right. So now that we have that, I am just going to draw a little bump on the bottom here of the shoe here to make like the sole of the shoe, that rubber part that touches the ground when you walk, right? You see it? It's starting to come together now. Then right here, I am going to draw another line that comes like this. So there's that line right there. And I'm just going to draw another little bump. So you can see it's like 2 shoes. So this one's like kind of behind it. And then I'll follow along with that other bump right there. Cool. So I'll let you guys catch up there. This is a mistake. Don't look at that. All right. So if you want, I like to draw a belt on Mr. Met. So first, I'm going to put like a belt buckle here. So I'll just draw like a rectangle right there, like right where he would put his pants together. And then another little belt buckle on the inside. And then I'm just going to connect the sides here. So you can see I'm connecting that belt buckle to where his pants would be, to kind of separate that from the top part of his jersey. And then I'll add some belt loops there. So just some other little rectangles there. I'll put a couple here. You put as many as you want. And then I'm going to color my belt in black so you guys can see it easier on your screen there. But this is cool. When we color it in later, you can do whatever you want. You can have a blue belt or an orange belt, yellow, so much. There's so much to do. The sky's the limit. All right. So you can see our L, right? Now it just looks weird because it doesn't have a face. Let's make it Mr. Met. So if you guys have seen Mr. Met before that I've drawn, it's very similar. So I'm just going to draw like this kind of shape right here. So like a sideways horseshoe. So that's his nose. So I like to draw Mr. Met with a really big nose. Kind of pops out. And we're going to have all of his like eyes and eyebrows and stuff are going to like be behind his nose. So here's our nose, right? So now I'm going to come up a little bit and I'm just going to draw a line that comes across just this like curved line. So you can see I went, came to the nose, stopped, gave a little space and continued that line over. So that's where his eyes are going to rest. So now I'm going to draw these 2 little rainbow shapes or these horseshoe shapes. You see those right there? So again, you see I made 1, 2. And again, I like made sure that I didn't go in front of the nose. It like pops up behind the nose there to make it pop. All right, so let's put a circle in there. It's my favorite part. So there's Mr. Met's eyes. You can see he's kind of like staring into space. And then I'm going to draw another little circle on the inside there for his like pupils there. And then I'm going to color around that little circle. So I want the white of my paper to show for that little circle there. And pop that in. There we go. Sorry, mine's a little kind of hard to draw like this and my lines are a little rough. All right, so there's Mr. Met's eyes. So now he has these like eyebrows. So I'm just going to come on the side and I'm going to draw this like kind of curve. Just like right there. So there's 1, little like water droplets. And there's 2. And let's draw some eyebrows. So his eyebrows look like commas or like apostrophes when you're writing a sentence. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to draw 1 line like that. Then I'm going to come at where I started. I'm going to come up again and just fold it like that. So that's my 1 eyebrow. And then I'm going to fill this in just like this. So I'll add another one too. So when you're drawing eyebrows, like let me show you my final one. I always like to add them in. So you could see like, this eyebrow is going to go like in front of his hat. And that's totally cool. That's how I like to do it. It makes it kind of pop. So I'm just going to draw right on top of my hat here and draw that other eyebrow and then cover that in. All right. So for Mr. Met's mouth, you can kind of draw it a million different ways. But how I like to do it, he's like really happy. His mouth's open. He's smiling. So I'm going to come down over here. And I'm just going to draw like this kind of curved line that comes like that. You see that? This kid is actually a great smile. You could kind of leave that if you wanted right there. But if you want to draw like mine, I'm going to keep going. So then I add like a little bump right there. That's like the top part of his lip. And now I'm going to draw these two lines down here. There's one, and there's two right there. So I draw that because that's like the side of his mouth when he's open, you know? If you look at your mouth when your mouth's open, gives it a little definition. Now I'm going to come up the back where I started, this line here, and I'm just going to come down, and I'm going to come down like that, up, and then curve like this. So that's the bottom part of his mouth. And then for his tongue, I'm going to draw like this little curve right here. So you see that little line? This little shape I made right here? That's going to be his tongue. And then I'm going to color this in with my black ink right here. Again, so it can pop. It's like the inside of his mouth. So cute. And if you have space, I usually add like a little line at the bottom of his mouth there, just to show like a little definition of the bottom of his lip. I'll put a little curve right here to show his smile line. Let me put that right there. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's add our stitches in. So I'm going to draw like this, kind of like a line right here, and then a line right here. And these are where his baseball stitches are. So if you look at a baseball, it's like that red part that's sewn together. And then I'm going to draw like these hearts. So there's one heart, two hearts. And you can fit in as many as you want. So you can see I always do the heart, like hearts going one way and then going the opposite way on the other side. So these hearts are like the pointy ends at the bottom, and this and the pointy ends at the top. All right, so there's our Mr. Met L. Not too bad, right? And then I'm just going to write a Mets logo on the front right there. So the next letter that we do, which is going to be the G, it's going to be really similar to what we did on this Mr. Met, especially with the face and stuff. So feel free to jump ahead of me on that. So let's put that one away for right now. So let me get another sheet of paper. All right. So this one, you can see we want to make like the shape of the G, right? So if like, forget that this head was there. This looks like a G, right? So this is the top. It comes around, and his shoes are like the pointed part. They're kind of connected right there. So let's jump ahead, just like we did before. So I'm going to go a little faster because you guys saw all this in our last drawing we just did of our L. Sorry, my pen is going out of whack. Here we go. So again, you want to lay out where it's going to be. So I'm going to have mine like right here. So again, bottom part of the brim of the hat, I'm going to draw that shape right there. And then I'm going to come across like this. And again, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to go a little faster here just because it's the same thing we drew before. And then, there you go, that little top part of the hat. This is cool too. So if you're watching this on like a different time on YouTube or something, feel free to rewind that and you can kind of see it. So there's our hat. And just like we did before, I'm going to kind of pop in where he drew his shoulder, right? So there's the side of Mr. Met's head. And then I'm going to draw like this little horseshoe shape again. So there's that there. And now I'm going to continue with the rest of his baseball head. Now, what's really cool is when you're drawing these Mr. Met letters is when you can figure out like what you want your shape to look like, the letter of it, you just basically put a circle in the hat and you got a Mr. Met on there, which is kind of neat. So now, and I had that, I'm going to put another little line here for the sleeve again. And now this time I'm going to have it kind of curved a bit because again, his arm is shaped out like the letter G. So his arm's not going to go straight down. There's going to be a little bit of a curve to it. I'm talking about this arm right here right now. So again, here's his sleeve where his arm's going to come out. I'm going to come down like this. Yoink. And then another one like that. So I give a little bit of a longer arm with a little bit of a curve there. You see that? And just like we did before with the hand, I'm going to draw that circle. And then I'm going to put that little pop on that, the end part of the glove there. So you see that? And I'm going to draw my hands a similar way that I did just before with our L. So remember, I drew my thumb. So I kind of put like this little bend in it. You see that there? Kind of throw that in right there. And then with our fingers, again, just more of these like rectangles, but they're like kind of curved at the ends there. So you guys see that right there? All right. So that's that. And again, now that I have my arm in, I'm just going to connect this shape here. All right. So here's where we're going to have some fun. So now we're going to get really cool and make these exaggerated kind of shapes with our lines here, right? So let's come up here to the G, to the top part of the letter. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to come, see where the brim of the hat is right here? I'm going to come up a little bit higher and I'm going to make this curved line that comes like that. So there's one. And then I'm going to draw it again. So let me show you what I mean first. So I'm going to make his arm, it's going to be wider towards his head and get a little thinner towards his glove, right? Just like we talk about with your arm, right? Your muscles in the back and it gets thinner towards your wrist. So I'm going to come down like that and I'm going to make my shape a little thinner towards the top. So you see that there? It's a little wider here and then it gets thinner right about there. And just like we did here, let's draw another glove. So I'm going to draw a circle. And then I'm going to add that little bump at the end there for that glove, that part where you put your glove in. So now I'm going to draw his fingers in. So again, I'm going to draw the thumb over on this side. And then I'm going to put in those fingers again. So, here's one finger. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like drawing like a long side. So it comes down like this, rounded and up. And then I'll tuck that in. So that's the other finger. And then the pinky finger will come like that. So when you're drawing like a hand, you want to remember that your fingers, like usually like the thumb is kind of like short and stubby. The pinky is the smallest. You kind of want to follow along with that. All right. So that's there now. So you can start to see we're having like the G shape of it. Let's go in and let's give Mr. Met's belly in there again. So I'm going to come around here and I'm going to make this like kind of a belly here that comes around like this. Whoop, I already pressed. So I'm going to come down. Here we go. I love drawing Mr. Met. It is my favorite thing in the world to do. Look at that. So you can start to see we're having something, right? So you can see they're all kind of the similar shapes, circles and rectangles and such. All right. So let's come up here now. So we're going to come across. Here's our goal. So we're going to come across now. Our legs are going to like bend up. And this is going to be the little part of the G there. So I'm going to come down here right behind his hand. And I'm going to come up. So there's that one curved line up like that. I'm going to come into the middle here, and I'm going to draw another line like that. So kind of similar to what we did with the arm up here. I'm making it wider towards his like waist, his belly, and going to thin it out towards like his ankle. So now here, just like we drew the shoes with the L, we're going to draw them here. So again, I'm going to come down like this. I'm going to kind of make this like horseshoe shape again. So I'm going to come down like this. And go up. So you see the shape? So down, up. Now I'm going to continue it back here. So I'm just the bottom part. There's that. So you can see our shoe shape right there. And then I'll just put this line right here to be like the bottom part of his pants. And then the sole of that shoe. So what's really fun about these art classes and these drawings of Mr. Met, I'm sure as you can see, once you've drawn it once, you can take those same ideas that you just learned and you can just put them anyway to draw Mr. Met. So you can be flying or, sitting down, making letters. All right, so we're gonna add another line right here for that other leg. just like that. So I'm just going to kind of connect it right there. So you see this G we're starting to get? And then I'm going to draw a little bit. So just a little curved line like this right there. So this is going to be like, this part here is like this part of the shoe, right? But it's behind it. And then I'm going to draw another little sole of the shoe right there. Cool, right? And then like we did before, I'm going to add a belt. So another little rectangle right here with another little rectangle on the inside. That's your belt buckle. See that right there? And now I'm just going to bring this around. So I'll have my like loops kind of go like this and then bring it in like that. So you can see there. So I just put in that belt there. And then for belt loops, again, just a rectangle here, maybe one here. And then I'm going to color that in with the black so you guys can see it better. Pop that in here. Now, what's cool is when you add in the jersey part of it and stuff, you can decide what kind of jersey you want. So this one, I'm going to make mine the black jersey later. So I'm just going to like write the Mets one. And the reason I say that, if you wanted to use like the away jersey, you could make it, may say New York or, you know, Los Mets or whatever kind of jersey you wanted it to say there. So there's that. I'm going to have a little curved line right here. Just on this sleeve right there, I just added those two little curved lines so I can color that in there. Let's show that Mr. Met face. So just like we did on the first one, there's that nose, that little horseshoe shape. Draw that line right there again. That's like the bottom part of his eyes. And the eyes are these horseshoe shapes, right? Just like that. So there's 1, 2. And again, just like we drew before. So there's a circle, another circle, and then we'll kind of fill that in right there. Those little circles for those eyes there. Add that little eyebrow, not eyebrow, but like a little eyelash, those little water droplets on the side. And then our eyebrows again, those commas or those apostrophes. I cannot wait to see your guys' Mr. Met's letters. It's going to be so fun. So you see that? And then I'm going to draw the mouth again, like we did before. So again, apologies if I'm going a little faster. Same thing that we did before with that L, Mr. Met. Same type of mouth. There's our tongue, and I'll fill that in. I'm going to put that little bottom part of that lip. Little smile line there. Let's add those stitches in. So I pop the line there like that. And then these hearts. I'll tell you what, I think this is like our 5th or 6th Mr. Met theme drawing that we've done. So I would love to see a little challenge maybe. If you guys wanted to draw Mr. Met doing different things, maybe like having breakfast or I don't know, riding a bike and stuff. So you could just use the same things that you learned here, how to draw his face or his nose and stuff. And you could just add that into whatever you want him to be drawing. Make sure to send that to me. I think that'd be pretty cool. Anyway, cool. So there's our letter G. So you can see right now, let's take a little peek. So we have an L and we have a G. And we'll color those at the end. Maybe we can like kind of tie them together like that. This will be really cool when baseball season starts up. Hopefully sooner than later, we can make like big banners. All right. So this one's kind of funny. This one is my favorite one because it's so weird looking. So we're going to draw this one's a little different. So we'll start here. His head's going to be here and his hat's a different shape. So this one's going to be cool because we've never drawn this type of hat here. And then his legs are going to come up like that to make like this M. So I'll let you kind of take that in for a second. Have a little sip. All right, cool. So that's our M that we're going to go for. So let me get another sheet of paper. This one I'll slow down a bit because, again, it's newer. But it's very similar to everything we just did. All right. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to draw. So I want my Mr. Met head to be right here, right? So I'm going to draw this like curved line that comes like that. So you see this line here? This is like the top part of the brim of his hat. So now that I have that, I'm gonna come across in the bottom and I'm gonna draw the same shape, but it's just gonna be a little longer on the sides there. So like this. There we go. So you see that right there? So it's the same shape, but I made it just a little longer on the ends. Now what I'm gonna do is this top shape, I'm just gonna connect them. So you guys see that? So we kind of, I don't know, almost like a mustache in a way. What do you guys call that kind of shape? A croissant? This is always good. I always go with food kind of shape on that. So let me know in the comments what you think that looks like. Croissant, a boomerang. I don't know. The world is your oyster. Do whatever you want with it. So there's our croissant hat. And I'm just going to draw another little line just on the bottom, just to kind of follow it. Now this line here, that just gives a little like definition to the front part of the hat. This is for us artists here. Nobody is going to notice that but you and I, because it makes your drawing a little cooler, right? All right. Oh, sorry about that. All right, so next we're going to just draw this big rainbow shape. So remember, this is the brim of the hat, right? The part that covers your eyes from the sun. So I'm going to come in a little bit. So I'm like maybe from here to here. And I'm going to come down and I'm just going to make this big rainbow shape. Just like that. So the main thing you want to do is you don't want to connect it all the way to the ends here. You want to leave a little bit of space there on the sides of that brim of the hat. See what I mean? So it looks like it has a better shape to it. All right, so let's draw that little bump at the top. Look, you hear that noise? I don't know what that was. That was my bump at the top. So that's that little part of that hat. All right, so let's draw our little NY in there. I'm gonna pop that in there right there. Now this NY is years of practice, so it's not perfect. I just kind of throw it in there. I would say when you're drawing too, don't worry about all the little details. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to give like the idea that it's there, right? All right, so now we're gonna draw like a circle shape that's gonna connect from this end to this end, and that's gonna be Mr. Met's head. So here we go. There we go. So it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Don't worry about that. As long as you can get the round shape of it right in there. All right, so we have that here now. So now we're going to draw Mr. Met's face first before we do everything. So this face is a little different than the other ones we drew, right? So you have like a round nose and his face is coming. And the reason we're going to draw it a little different is normally, where did I put that sheet? So normally we look at like Mr. Met's head from the side, right? That's why his nose is shaped a certain way and his mouth is a certain way. This time we're going to be looking at it like head on, like looking directly at Mr. Met. He's staring into our souls. Woo. All right. So first thing I'm going to draw is her nose. So I'm just going to draw a circle right in the middle right there. So there's his nose. And again, just like we did before, this is our focal point. Everything's going to be like behind it. So this is popping out the front. So now I'm going to have a line that comes across just like I do normally. And it's going to come right behind his eye, his nose there. So I just have a line. Remember, it goes across, stops where the nose is, and it continues around. And then those two horseshoe shapes again. So there's one eye. And there's our other eye right there. So you can see, again, we want to make sure that it's like behind the nose. And to do that, we just stop when it gets to the nose, right? So let's draw another little circle there. So he's looking right at us. There's one. There's two. And we're going to draw those little circles on the inside there. That's going to be his pupils. And then I'm just going to color in around the outside of those circles there. There we go. So again, just like before, he has those like raindrops on the side for his eyelashes. And then our eyebrows again, like before. Remember, you can totally have them coming above in front of your hat there. So again, we're making like those commas. So there's like this comma shapes right there. And when we color it in, it's going to really pop. It'll look nicer. So I add these little lines at the bottom here too, just for us artists there. All right, so now we're going to draw a fun Mr. Met mouth. So I'm going to draw this kind of curved line that comes like this, just like that. So that's the top part of his lip. See that? And now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to draw this kind of shape. So you can see what I did is I came up here, I went down, made like a valley between two mountains, right? So down like that, curve, and it came right back up. Then for our tongue, I have another little shape right there, a little bump. And then let's color in this area right here. There we go. So that's like the inside of his mouth there. And like we normally do, I'm going to put those little curves on the side of his mouth there for his smile lines. And then this little curved line at the bottom here too. That's like the bottom part of his lip. And if you guys want, when I draw Mr. Met like this, where he's looking on here, I usually draw like I'll take a little shade, maybe with a pencil, or what you could do this when you're coloring later. But I usually do it with ink. But I just make a couple little lines, like real quick like that. You see that? Maybe a little ones like that. And that just makes his nose look a little round. And just like we did Mr. Met before, we want to have those stitches in the baseball head. So there's going to be one curved line and another curved line down here. And then we can just draw those stitches again. So on this side, I'm going to draw those hearts. So if you can see, I do like one loop, then another loop. One loop, then another loop. And kind of pop that in there. And when I get to the bottom too, like obviously it's like the ball is round, his head. So you just want to kind of follow along on that. And this one, same thing when I'm going the other way. So there's one loop down, one loop. Pop those in right there. So there you go. So there's your Mr. Met head. So what's really cool is this is a new one that we've drawn. So now you have different shades of Mr. Met in a way. All right, so now we're going to draw the M. So this is going to look really funny. So we're going to draw so this is like the middle part of the M, and his legs are going to kind of bend up like this. So I'm going to come up to like the hat right here, and I'm just going to go make one big line across like that. So it's almost like I'm making the heart shape, very similar to what we did with our stitches here, right? Except it's a little more round. So I come down, make the big round, and come like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So I'm going to come right here, and I'll draw that right this. Oh my gosh, you could totally draw Mr. Met butterfly if you wanted. We'll do that for another day. Today we're drawing an M, but you can see the wings, right? That's really cute. All right, so let's draw our shoes now. So our shoes, again, remember, they're coming like at us. So it's going to be a little bigger in the front and get thinner towards the back. So what I'm going to do is our shoes are going to be right here, right? So I'm going to draw like a bump like this. So you see that? Almost like the letter C. One right there. And now I'm going to continue with the bottom part of that C. Sorry if my hand's in the way here. And I'm going to come down. I'm going to bend in like this. So now I made that, and I kind of made this shape again. It's almost like a number 3 in a way, like that. And I'll do the same thing over here. So again, remember, one big bump for the front of his shoe. And then I'm going to come in and kind of give like this kind of shape right here. So yeah, this is like where his toes are, and this is where the back of his foot is, this heel. All right, so now I'm going to draw for fun, since our shoe's looking at us, I'm going to draw some shoelaces. So I'm just going to make like this like curved shape. You see that? Remember, kind of similar to what we did for his eyebrows. I'll do 1 and then 2 right there. Those are his shoelaces, like a loop. And then I'll make the same shape on the inside there, so you can see that they're shoelaces. And then here, I'm just going to draw these like little curved lines. So again, remember, it's not perfect, but it's enough information to look like a shoe in a way, right? So this is the laces tied up, and these are like the bunny ears of your shoes. And then here, I'm just going to add this line right here to make it look like his pants. And then, like we did before, just another little line at the bottom to kind of give like the sole of his shoe there. There it is. So it looks like McDonald's almost, right? So we'll add another little shape like that. more bunny ears, just like we did on the other shoe there. And then these loops right here. And then again, that little sole of that shoe. And then I'm going to add that down here. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do here, so you can see in our final drawing here. So these are Mr. Met's legs, right? So this is like his, what do you call that? Like his shin, right in his calf, like your bottom, right below your knee there. I just smacked my knee as if you could see it on camera. But so I'm just going to right about here. Let's think this is his knee, right? Like right here and here. We'll draw that line like that. There's one like right there. And then I'll draw another line like this. All right. So that is our drawing part of it. So you can see here now, let me just pop these on. So we have an L for let's go Mets. Kind of cool, right? So I'll just color these in really fast while we're going through it. So I'm going to make this one like a pinstripe jersey. And what's cool is ours all can look different because you can have whatever kind of jersey you want on there. I usually draw Mr. Met's arms blue right here because you can see he usually has like this, like an undershirt underneath that there. But yeah, how is that, guys?
It almost looks like Mr. Met is doing yoga.
Oh, he could be downward facing dog, lotus. I tried to do yoga a couple of times, and then I feel like such an old man after. I'm like, oh my God, my arms.
Yeah, I took one class with my wife, and that was enough for me.
They have a bunch on YouTube. When you're done watching our class with Herm, you could step in like 10-minute YouTube things. It's a nice way to kind of wake up in the morning.
Absolutely.
I make this orange.
Great job. I drew along with you today. It doesn't look as nearly as great as yours, but I tried.
Oh, please. I can't wait to see it. And everyone else can't wait to see it either.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yeah, of course, man. Oh, I forgot my red crayon, but normally I put red here. Pop a little tongue there. So how did you guys like this there? Show us there in the comments how you guys did. So I'm going to make this like a black jersey. And let us know what you want to draw. You know, this one, honestly, this was fun. This was a T-shirt idea that I submitted to the Mets for a T-shirt Friday idea that got shot down. But now it's a cool. It lives here in infamy with us. So we'll kind of have like this, the sleeves right there. So how's your day going? In the comments, just let us know how you want. Maybe like a scoreboard for Citi Field. Is there anything that you guys want to draw or interested in drawing? Corner of it, a stand, the scoreboard. Let us know. That's stuff that I like to draw too. We can do that. So he has these like gray pants. And again, you can draw this as nice as you want on there. I'm just kind of throwing it in there because watching me color is kind of boring. Throw that in right there. So there's that, Mr. Met. And then our M. Let's see, what color can we make his pants? Let's keep them white. And then I'm going to draw the blue. What's your favorite hat color? I love those. I think they use it for batting practice. It's like blue with the orange brim. That's my favorite one. A couple years ago, they had those spring training hats. I think they were. It was like Mr. Met on the actual hat. Oh, man. The hat. And it had like this cool fabric. It was so nice. Listen to me. No sponsorship here. I'm just just enjoy a nice, easy, breezy hat for the summertime. And then we'll color that in right there. So some more shoes there. All right. So here we go. So again, we have it colored in right there. Our L, our G, and our M for Let's Go Mets. So that was a lot of fun. So now there's a lot of ways you can do this. So if you guys wanted, you could tape them together and make like a big banner. That might be kind of cool. You could hang it in your room. You could cut them out and put them on a bigger sheet of paper, maybe like a piece of poster board or something. You could do that. Anyway, whatever you want to do, you can absolutely do that. And let us know how you do with it. But before we go, I just wanted to show you something really fun. So if you guys wanted to write like your name or something else on here, what I would recommend is you have a piece of paper and maybe a pencil. And let's do like the letter A. You can just draw like kind of like a bubble letter of the shape there. So you see that there? So just a pencil right here. And then, you could have Mr. Met's head here, and then his shoes right here, and maybe his pants right there. And look, you just made the letter A on there. So I just wanted to show you real quick. So if you guys, I did this one really fast there, but you could see what I mean, right? If you just draw the outline of the shape, and then you just add where Mr. Met would be there, you can write your name or something. So that'd be kind of cool. This one looks kind of scary, but you get the point. So anyway, let's throw that to the side. But I'm really interested to see what you guys do with that. So feel free to share your drawings. It's one of our favorite things on here. So we spent all that time drawing on it, and I want to share it there. So you can tag me at Herman. That's me on Instagram. I'd love to see your drawings there. If Twitter is more your style, you can find me at Herm's Terms. I honestly don't go on Twitter too much, but I'll absolutely repost it and share and all that stuff. You hit me there. Make sure to tag the 7 line too, so we can have a nice big audience and we can kind of share with each other how great we did. Or if you prefer to email it to me, if you don't have Instagram or Twitter or something, I'm Herm at hermsterms.com. And I'd love to see your drawings on there too. And then make sure you could check out some of my other work at hermsterms.com. See some other kind of events I've drawn, baseball drawings, things like that too. So that's that. So I can't wait to see your drawings. Oh, and then what I forgot to write too, at the bottom of your drawing, make sure you sign and date it, right? So usually I'll sign mine at the bottom, right? And then what is today? The 10th, right? So we'll do June 10th. 2020. And again, what's really cool about signing and dating your drawing there, signing it, it's yours. So you can like always claim responsibility. This is my amazing drawing. And then to dating it, if you continue drawing, you can see how awesome all your drawings have gotten over time on there. But yeah, so that's that. So make sure to share your drawing. Thanks again to Sail Away Coffee. So again, sailawaycoffee.com. You can check out their stuff. They were awesome enough to hook us up with a 20% discount on your order there. So again, that's Herm20, so HERM 20 to get that nice discount. Thank you again, guys. You're awesome. Have a wonderful day. I know you're going to do amazing things every day in your life. Just keep smiling. Love everyone. And we'll see you next week. All right. Be good, guys. Love you. See ya.